Returning to my Coin Lady channel, I am pleased to see you again. Let's dive into XRP. First things first, the SEC is wrapping up its probe into OpenSea. Every creator, no matter how big or small, should be able to construct freely without additional restrictions, and seeking to classify NFTs as securities would have been a step backward, misinterpreting the law and slowing innovation. So, this is a win for everyone in our industry. Now NFTs may move forward with ease. Going future, I believe a tremendous eruption will occur around NFTs, and this one is a big case dismiss. Both of these terms, Coinbase case, are ones that every defendant here hopes to hear. We are happy to announce that SEC government has decided to withdraw our case today, subject to full commission approval. We still have a lot of work to do, and we must not lose sight of the ball. There will be no settling or compromising, instead, wrongs will be rectified. To prevent such illegal actions in the future, legislation is essential. Now let's talk about the SEC versus Ripple scenario. That will also be included in our discussion. Cherry Notes has more complicated procedures than Coinbase, according to Eleanor Tourette Ripple, as they already have a district court order to pay the $5 million penalty. The final ruling states that until August 7, 2025, Torres will maintain jurisdiction over the case to ensure that the order's provisions are fulfilled. Although the SEC could decide to forego further appeals to the Second Circuit, doing so would necessitate a strategy for approaching the district court, where they would likely have to negotiate a reduction or dismissal of the penalty, and hopefully win over Torres, the presider. We are currently in uncharted terrain, according to one legal authority I spoke with. So there is some degree of doubt surrounding all of this. Judge Torres must so give his approval in order to eliminate the $125 million penalty. Think she'd go through with it? Possibly so. We still need to wait and see what happens next, but I get the impression that she is eager to close this case as much as we are. According to Jeremy Hogan, the Coinbase action was dismissed with prejudice, which means that no matter how little the concessions, the case cannot be refiled later. So, the SEC apparently isn't waiting for Atkins to be confirmed before making major crypto movements, because they went ahead and did this without Atkins. In the absence of Atkins, why are they unable to proceed with the Ripple vs. SEC case? They should be able to vigorously pursue dismissal of the case, or at least negotiate a different settlement. What happens next is anyone's guess. Brad might pay $10 million or $50 million. What Brad Garlinghouse had to say was this. Let it enough to say that I am among the many impatient people who are eager to have this SEC issue resolved as soon as possible, given the agency's obvious desire to put the failed enforcement policies of the previous administration's regulation program behind it. Brad shares our desire for that lawsuit to conclude. When we consider it, he becomes as impatient as we are. You are entangled in a legal proceeding. It is in everyone's best interest for a court matter to conclude quickly. So, Brad is also hoping this doesn't take too long. Once again, Jeremy Hogan, an earlier resolution is certainly being considered. However, I have a sneaking suspicion that it could be May, or the first half of April. It's just a feeling. Now that FedWire has been postponed until July, I still think that time frame is perfect. Stop before it goes live with ICE and ISO 222, nonetheless, we will have to wait and see what happens next. The value of XRP will surge if the lawsuit is resolved quickly. The source of this is smoke. One of the 5 big crypto cases that will change the way digital assets are regulated in 2025 is the Ripple vs. SEC case. This court fight has been crucial in determining how U.S. security laws relate to cryptocurrencies, particularly in determining how digital assets are classified and how they are sold. The conclusion of the case will shed light on compliance criteria for tokens that were previously in legal uncertainty, as it directly affects regulatory frameworks. The fact that Ripple vs. SEC is being used as a precedent further adds to this clarity. The case means that XRP will be subject to legal scrutiny, and will also establish the standard for how regulators and institutions evaluate digital assets. Going ahead, I've always maintained this case had to happen, and now that it has, we can move on with confidence thanks to the United States regulations. Eventually, I believe the Ripple test will supersede the Howey test. I believe this was necessary in order to ensure a more favorable conclusion for all subsequent cases before the Ripple vs. SEC case. Plus, I've maintained that it was intentional. Your attention in seeing my video is greatly appreciated. When you're done, hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think.